Welcome to LSB Features Radio Channel, where we keep great radio from the past alive. Today, we've got an air check from Brink and Belzer. Yes, Scotty Brink and Richard Belzer. Now, back in 1978, 66 WNBC was looking to do something in New York that hadn't been done in a while. They wanted a comedy team on the morning show. And this hadn't been done in New York in a while. The last time New York had a comedy morning show with a team was back in the 1960s with Clavin and Finch on 1130 WNEW. So this was something New York hadn't heard in a while. They had Bob and Ray on WOR in the afternoon a year or two earlier, but this hadn't been done in the morning in a while. So they tried to find a comedy team, but they couldn't really find what they wanted, so they decided to put a team together. So they found the straight man, the perfect jock. They found Scotty Brink. Now, Scotty Brink, I think, is one of the best jocks ever. Scotty Brink had worked almost everywhere. He worked at WIBG in Philadelphia under the name Don L. Brink. He worked at WOR-FM in New York under J.J. Jordan. He worked at 93 KHJ, WCFL Chicago, WLS, KJR Seattle, WRKO Boston, KUPD, WLAC, WSIX, KSDO. I mean, Scotty Brink worked at just about every great radio station in America. I looked at his resume. I'm jealous. Man, it's like an encyclopedia of the best radio stations in America. WNBC then decided to scour the comedy clubs of New York to find the right comedian they thought would work well with Scotty Brink and would have the right type of comedy that would work well on the radio, that would be just clean enough and be short enough that would work well with radio bits. Well, they then found Richard Belzer, so they put the two of them on together. They were doing different type of parody bits and comedy commercials and things like that, and WNBC thought they had something. Well, they started doing the show together. They didn't set the world on fire, but the ratings on the show did incrementally start to get better. And people were actually starting to gravitate towards the show. Now, New York radio is very competitive. There was so much going on, so much to choose from, and then at the same time, you've got 92 KTU in New York, which is setting the world on fire with disco at the time. While this morning show is going on with Brink and Belzer doing their thing, at the same time, Richard Belzer is still doing his main job, doing stand-up comedy. And he's out in the comedy clubs, he's making appearances, he's doing TV, he's still trying to make his way through the comedy world, and at the same time doing the morning show. Because he's doing all this, he's basically missing the first 30 to 60 minutes of the morning show every day. So he's getting in between 6:30 and 7 o'clock for a morning show that starts every day right about 6 o'clock. So already things are a little screwy on this show. But the show is growing. But he's getting burned out. It's hard to do a comedy show every night and do a morning show every day. And from the best of my recollection, because I am doing all this from memory, he eventually just got burned out on this show and just couldn't keep it up and eventually had to walk away from it. And as the show is basically imploding, WNBC decides to go to Cleveland to bring back Imus, who comes back in 1979, which is kind of sad because the show was growing. If you remember more about how this show ended, please let me know in the comments below, because like I said, I'm doing all of this from memory, and this is 40 years ago, and my memory ain't what it used to be. I gotta thank my friend Matt from Big Apple Airchecks from this audio, because it was hard to find some audio from Brink and Belzer. So let's give it a listen. Let's go back to the 1970s with Brink and Belzer on 66 WNBC, New York.
From the top
of the Johns Beach Tower,
this is Big Apple Airchecks,
New York. And if you don't have your 1979 WNBC bumper sticker, get one. Or they sell Sprite. What in the world's happening here? Sprite is the clear favorite. Is that what it was?
You know what I heard?
What's that?
But I wrote a song in 1968 called Earthquake. Na 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 na.
And now, another Brink and Belzer update report brought to you by Sexon, the company that gives great oil.
The door-to-door sales company, Fuller Brush, will merge with the Schick Company to manufacture a razor that takes the 5 o'clock shadow off your door. The new firm will be called Fuller Schick. Censorship at 11.
Yankees are going to be back home today at the stadium with Ron Guidry on the mound for the Yankees against Boston's Mike Torres.
Rapid Ron Guidry.
Opening a series for the White Sox. The Mets beat the Pirates also, 3-2.
Well, that's 2 in a row for the Mets, a world record for them this year.
They're good. The Mets finally get a chance to leave Pittsburgh. They've been there, it seems like an eternity they've been in Pittsburgh. Of course,
yes.
2 days is like an eternity in Pittsburgh. And now they're going to go to Chicago and start playing the Cubs.
I saw a man dance with his wife in Chicago.
And now, here's Richard Belzer with some advice on how to be funny.
First of all, at the top of the crevice here, let me say that we're all potentially funny. You're funny, I'm funny. Blanche Hudson is funny. Fred Silverman makes you roll on the floor. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And by the way, this hour, it's 6:47, is it? Mm-hmm. If you drive by the Statue of Liberty, you can see through her dress because the sun is right behind her.
Oh,
let's say you've spent the last 20 minutes squeezing into a tight parking space.
Parking space.
Parking space.
Yeah.
While you were maneuvering, some guy in a little sports car kept circling the block, hoping you wouldn't make it. You know that feeling, right?
Yeah.
So he could take the space.
Right.
Just as you finish parking, this joker in the sports car pulls up next to you and says, "Are you coming in or pulling out?" Now, because you're quick on the draw and into the comedy thing, you look at him and say, "Hey, buddy, we don't even know each other. My sex life is none of your business."
Ow. We do that every morning. Stumbling in. WNBC.
Insurance, those two. They're just stumbling all over the place.
That's Chris Norman and Susie Quattro. 63 degrees now.
Norman, and Susie.
It's 7:02.
7:02?
2 minutes past 7. Huh?
Isn't there a gas called 7:02?
A gas called 7:02.
8:02 or something?
I don't know.
CO2.
That's carbon dioxide is what they call it.
I'm
63
sorry.
degrees.
I knew it was O2 something.
At NBC.
Zippity O2, zippity my. It's 7:02 and 30 seconds today.
How you doing, Virgil, world's oldest bat person?
Well, it looks like the Yankees are hurting from the energy crisis, too.
How's that?
Even though they won. Well, they're running out of gas. More than 10 games out.
That's almost funny, Virgil.
Hey, I always said you were great for my ego, Scott. So, anyway, all this tension between Billy Martin and Reggie Jackson, I think George Steinbrenner should take them both out for a drink and help patch things up.
Well, that's a great idea. Any suggestions where you should take them?
To a Reggie bar or a Billy club.
4 minutes past 7 o'clock. We're Brink and Belzer at WNBC.
Sneeze in outer space, no one says Gesundheit.
In space, no one can hear you scream. Alien, rated R from 20th Century Fox.
Now playing in specially selected theaters near you.
That's a scary thought. You know, an astronaut up there sneezing by himself and no one can say Gesundheit.
When you tell a joke in outer space, no one laughs.
The streets of New York.
You know, we have some locally dense fog here and there this morning.
I've seen it and I've eaten it.
I ran it. Brink and Belzer. And hi, Lance. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Mellow Man. How you doing, Lance?
I'm okay, man. I just wish they'd end this gasoline weirdness.
Yeah.
It's got everybody freaked out.
It certainly has.
Well, not everybody. I think the FBI likes it.
You think the FBI likes the gasoline problem? Why would they?
It keeps people in line.
I'm Charles McCord. He's Charles McCord. We're Brink and Belzer. It's a minute before 9 at WNBC New York.
This program is brought to you by Mig Newton, the cookie that flew combat missions in the Korean War. In outer space, no one can hear the scratches on your records.
Smith, all right. Young Rex at 7 minutes past 9 o'clock.
My breath. Bring it back.
Okay, there. Richard Belzer's here now at... This is the Brink and Belzer Show.
It is.
And coming up, Truman Conforti with Gossip Hotline at NBC. In the meantime, here's Richard with advice on how to be funny.
Yes. Now, as you know, we're all funny. You're funny, I'm funny, and you can be funny in any situation. Say you're having dinner at a small, intimate, high-class restaurant. All of a sudden, you burp real loud, okay? You didn't mean to. It was an accident. Could happen to anybody. But everybody in the place is looking over at you as though you just swallowed the head waiter. But, of course, you can handle these moments because you're funny, babe. And you're quick, ma'am, Bino. So you look around and say, was it me or was it Memorex?
WNBC.
No!
909.
No, please.
909.
Please don't play Billy Joel.
At WNBC. 76 degrees.
No. I can't take it. In outer space, no one can hear Billy Joel.
And the Mets beat the Chicago Cubs 4-0. That was a 7-inning game that was called after 7 innings because of rain. And they never played the second game because they canceled the first game, so there's no sense in playing the second
They
one.
blew up disco records on the pitcher's mound.
That was another time, but it's a heck of a good idea. Also, the Cosmos beat the San Jose Earthquakes 5-0.
Do you know the way to San Jose?
Not anymore. I used to back in the old days, but I think they moved it.
Yeah, they
20%
did.
off kids' socks and underwear.
Use only as directed.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here he is now. The man, the celebrity world cringes in terror to the sound of his voice. Truman Cavorti with Gossip Hotline.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
You know, United Artists has asked Sylvester Stallone to write and direct a movie about Carter's presidency. They're going to call it Very Rocky. Gilda Radner's doing all her Saturday Night Live characters on Broadway. Emily Latella, Rosanna Dana, Candy Slice, Lisa Lubner, and Baba Wawa. But it looks like Broadway has gone to her head because she wants a dressing room for each one of them. Well, last night I went to see the Amityville Horrorman, and that's the film that's being advertised with the headline, "For God's sake, get out, man." Well, I have a word of advice. I have a word of advice about the Amityville Horrorman. For God's sake, don't go in, man.
Well, thank you, man.
You're welcome, man.
Truman, man.
Yes.
That's 920. 31. That's great stuff. Oh, love that whole album. That was good old...
You remember those
rock and roll.
guys?
Do I remember those guys? Absolutely.
Buffalo Springfield.
76 degrees now at WNBC. I'm Scotty Brink.
I'm Richard Springfield.
Now, another Brink and Belzer update report brought to you by Fitos, the crispy snack you eat with your toes.
In a dramatic public relations maneuver to increase his popularity with the American people, President Carter has changed his name to Clint Eastwoodman. Escape from the White Houseman at 11.
Now, another Brink and Belzer update report. Brought to you by Arthur Creatures, the fast food restaurant that specializes in monsters.
Park officials at Rockaway Beach are cautioning swimmers to be on the lookout for loan sharks. These are large, dangerous predators that wear sunglasses and fedora hats. Until the loan shark scare is over, the best precaution is to stay out of the water, especially if your name is Vito. Jaws and Chianti at 11.
Hey, Virgil, world's oldest bat boy.
Yo, buddy, what's happening?
What's a good word?
Well, I got me a great new camera. The Polaroid two-step.
Wait a minute, the Polaroid two-step? I never heard of that one. I've heard of the one-step. Does the two-step take good pictures?
Nope, but it sure can dance.
Hey, WNBC, that's Sister Sledge.
Yes,
And
we are family.
We are Brink and Belzer.
Right.
And it's 79 degrees and 79% humidity, and it's really hot and uncomfortable, and it's going to be that way for several days. But it's 26 minutes before 8 o'clock, so it makes
I was
everything...
going to say it's hot and Hungarian, but
It's that, too, as a matter of fact. Let's create a joke or two.
Okay.
Morning, Brink and Belzer. You ready to create a joke?
Oh, yes, I am.
What did this invisible man say to the psychiatrist?
Said, Doc, I just can't seem to find myself.
What is your name?
My name is Herb Hollander.
Hi, Herb. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. How
Where are you
you?
from? Where are you from, Herb?
I'm from Great Neck, New York.
Okay.
All right.
So, I just can't seem to find myself?
That's what I feel right now. Man.
Okay, Herb. Have a nice day.
Bye, Herb.
Bye, Herb.
Brink and Belzer, you ready to create a joke?
Yes, I am.
What did the invisible man say to the psychiatrist?
But I don't think you see what I mean.
But I don't think you see what I mean. Try it this way. But I don't think you see what I mean.
But I don't think you see what I mean.
That's better reading.
All right.
Okay. What is your name?
Eric Underweiser.
Eric Underweiser?
Merrick.
Merrick.
Yeah.
Long Island.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're from Merrick, Long Island?
Yeah.
And your name is...
No, I'm from Woodmere, Long Island.
Oh, and your name is Merrick.
Yeah.
And your last name?
Underwiser.
Don't be an Underwiser.
So your name is Merrick and you're from Underwiser, Long Island.
Right.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Have a nice day, man.
Okay.
I don't know. It must be the heat.
Underwiser, Long Island. It's a nice town.
24 minutes before 8. That's a great idea. Now, another Brink and Belzer update report. Brought to you by Slippy, the peanut butter you should never walk across.
The Sears department store chain assigned WNBC's radio resident guru, Swami Belzer Bombay, to a long-term contract as public relations consultant. The acclaimed mystic will be given the title Seer for Sears. Karma and Ladies Lingerie at 11.
What's going on, Virgil?
Well, I just got a letter from my cousin down in Pigpoke. J.J. Jesse Jojo Jimbo Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
He's a barber, and he just got through with the Arkansas Annual Barber Contest. That's where they see who can cut hair the fastest.
Well, how'd he do?
He won by a hair.
Easy, Virgil. Calm down.
Big Apple Airchecks is your full-service aircheck source.